Hi and welcome. In this tutorial we're using WordPress and Bolt AI Builder to build single pages for our board games directory. We'll be pulling data from JetEngine through the REST API with everything, endpoints, filters, and some design structure written into the prompt. At the end, I'll show you a trick on how to make your single pages SEO ready by automatically setting up their metadata with no extra tweaking needed afterwards. Let's dive into the backend. Inside WordPress, I've set up a custom content type called Board Games. Its REST API toggle is switched on, and that's the endpoint Bolt will use to generate each game's page by ID. Now let's walk through the fields that feed into our single pages. Name and description are stored as text area fields. Age group and genre use selects. Price is a number field. Link is just a text field holding the store URL, which will hook up to the Buy Now button. For richer content, I have Gallery, set to return an array with both media ID and URL, and Components, a repeater where each row contains a single text field where I can list what comes in the box. That's already pretty diverse mix of fields, exactly what you want to fill in the single page. Some of these fields also power filters, but since that setup is covered in another Bolt integration video, I won't repeat it here. After setting up the CCD, I built a JetEngine query for this type and enabled its REST API so we don't have to rely on a default CCD items endpoint. It's a better practice because queries let you shape the list of items with precise conditions, in case you want that functionality. And they also serve as the base for dynamic filters, for which I set up filter arguments. Alright, with the query endpoint ready and data about the sample board games filled into the custom content types, it's time to create the prompt for Bolt. I kept the part of the prompt that explains functionality and backend connection fairly short, and I used ChatGPT to refine it so Bolt understands better. This way I could test and clarify my intentions through back and forth questions without burning credits in the AI builder. One AI helping shape instructions for another makes the whole process smoother. Here's what the prompt includes. First, I explain what I want built: a directory site with a listing page and single pages for each board game. Then I give Bolt the data sources, one endpoint for fetching a single game by ID, and another from the JetEngine query powering the listings and filters. I also list the query arguments so Bolt knows exactly what filter parameters are available. Next is a map of all my fields as they appear through the API. Note that simple meta fields, including price, come through as strings. Gallery is an array of objects, and the repeater is an object that needs to be turned into an array of strings. Finally, I describe the layout: homepage grid, single page structure, gallery display, and which data to show. At the bottom of each single page, I also ask for a grid of other games pulled from the query, plus a couple of UX rules for filters and search. This time I also added a big block devoted to design. Instead of letting the AI builder to produce a generic layout, I asked ChatGPT to generate design instructions. For this project I went with a dark, playful, game-focused style, and having that baked into the prompt gave me much more control from the start. Once the prompt is ready, I drop it into Bolt. During a short wait, it reads the schema, connects to my endpoints, and generates the listings, filters, and single pages. When the build is done, Bolt shows me a preview with my original prompt on the left and its interpretation on the right. Let's open the site full screen. On the homepage, the board games appear in a grid with sidebar filters. The cards follow the structure from the prompt, and the filters are live right away. Clicking into a single page, the gallery behaves exactly as expected. To the right are the details pulled straight from JetEngine: name, age group, genre, price, description, and list of components. There's also a Buy Now button linking directly to the store. Scroll down and each page ends with a small grid of other items pulled from the same query but excluding the current one. Each of the cards links to its own single page. And it is worth pointing out, all of this is responsive right out of the box. The single pages, including the grids, adapt neatly to smaller screens, so the site is mobile friendly without us doing any extra setup. In other words, one prompt gives me a working dynamic directory that updates straight from the backend. As for the design, whatever is included in the prompt, like typography or color scheme, will be reflected here. Where Bolt doesn't get explicit instructions, it fills in the gaps on its own, which is typical across all its generations. Of course, mistakes can happen. For example, I've seen filter margins stretch beyond the box or icons render at odd sizes. And keep in mind, the site will not look exactly the same every time you generate it with the same prompt. Now, as I promised at the beginning, I want to take care of the single page's SEO, so they automatically get metadata related to the product they're showing. Right now they don't. If you look at the browser tab, it just shows the website's title, the same for every product page. And when the site goes live, those pages won't display proper metadata in search results or when links are shared through social media or messengers. So I add one more short prompt. It sets each single page title to the product name and writes meta text straight into the head, including the open graph tags for product type, title, description, image, and URL. All of this is sourced directly from the backend fields. Once Bolt AI Builder updates the site, you can see the difference right away. In the browser tab, the product's name shows up as the page title. And if I open DevTools and check the head, all the meta tags are there. That's what makes the site search engine ready when it goes live. And when you share a link on Facebook or Twitter, the preview will pull correct title, description, and image. And that's it. With a single prompt, we've got a full board games directory, complete with listings, filters, and detailed functional single pages. And with one quick follow-up prompt, we even added automated SEO optimization. No templates to configure, no extra setup for search engines. This mix of Crocoblock and AI Builder still has a lot of ground to cover, so stick around. In the meantime, don't forget to like, leave your questions in the comments, and subscribe so you don't miss what's next. Have a good one!